Hi, it's Ockert from Oneness, Freedom to be Happy and Healthy, Wealthy and Healed movement. And you are listening to a training series on the Awakened Imagination Challenge. This is day 5 of the challenge, and in today's lesson, we are going to explore. We got 2 more tiny explorations with this bit here. We do 5 segments of these because it's really important that you just keep you built in this habit and notice what you see that activates the trigger, what you hear that activates the trigger. What you actually sense that activates the trigger, and part of what happens is that you're doing these. People often don't realize this. Sometimes the exercises, people tell us, oh, they are boring, or I get frustrated, or I don't understand. You're not supposed to understand. You're just supposed to experience. So as we just explore the first 5, 6 exercises in this theme, they're getting the scene to bring us to an experiential understanding, not just a mental understanding, but an experiential understanding of how fast we imagine and add meaning. And how and often when you imagine and add meaning to a trigger, gosh, it's always depleting your bank account. It's always depleting that emotional, that state bank account that you have. So today in lesson 5, we are going to loosen things up a little bit. Look, listen and feel. Take your 3-minute break, right? Remember your phrase. This sensation, what I see, what I hear does not mean anything. It does not mean what I imagine it does. Remember that little phrase. As you explore with that little phrase again, just notice where your mind naturally goes. Do you start looking around and adding meaning? Do you start listening and add meaning? Do you notice sensation in your body, like the temperature of your hands, cramp in your leg? If I was taking care of myself, I wouldn't have these cramps in my legs. And I must be a bad person, and there goes your state, right? The main difference with lesson 4 is this. It's free flow. You just notice today the main thing today, and you keep repeating. This blank doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean what I imagine it does. Now, as you explore with that phrase, what I want you to notice is this. I want you to notice where you do tend to go. Do you tend to mostly get triggered by the visual, auditory, or kinesthetic sensation? You're building on an understanding of how your life has been run. I'm 71 years old, and I know roughly how my life gets run by these triggers. I know the percentage of visual, percentage of auditory sound, and percentage of kinesthetic sensation, and being aware of it allows me to notice, hold on, I've lost my state. What was the trigger that I added meaning to? Was it a girl giggling? Did that send me back to when I was a young boy? What was it? And just becoming infinitely curious. Again, you don't have to become confident with the methods of Neville. But what I want you to do is become infinitely curious about how you have let your imagination run wild. Again, Neville talks about pruning the vine. There are 2 things in Pruning the Vine lecture that is fascinating. Number 1, it is that the vine that produces fruit, gets trimmed up and gets shaped up so it produces even better fruit. The vine that is not producing fruit gets cut. Now I want you to think about this. When you become more and more aware, as you become more and more aware of your imaginal activity, and when you find activity that is productive, do more of it. When you find activity that is not productive, do less of it. And what's fascinating to me is oftentimes people will notice, oh, it's the visual triggers that bring me down. It's the auditory triggers that bring me down. Oftentimes, I'll hear someone, and that will be the difference that puts me back on track. Or I'll see something, and that'll be what knocks me off my square. And the more you notice these things, the more you can actually run your life. You can actually creatively use your states instead of letting your imagination and vine grow wild. Remember, we trim what's producing, so it produces even better and stronger. Okay, and that's what we do with our imagination. And we cut what's not producing for us, and as you explore visual, auditory, kinesthetic pictures, sounds, and feelings, you're going to notice some patterns that pops up. And as you notice them, and as you take charge of your life more and more, you're going to notice it gets much easier to walk and live in that state of the wishful thought. Do this, and you get to live the adventure of a lifetime. Okay, that's it for now. I'll see you tomorrow, and remember to have fun.